Oh, fine. We must inform the people. Oh, and do yoga.
The Football Manager beta period is almost over, which means we have a pretty good idea of what glitches were in the game when it was released and what we are hoping they're going to fix before the actual game comes out on the 9th of November. And I say actual game, it's the game that we've been playing on the beta already, but the full final release, huzzah, fire the cannons, that sort of thing. The problem is, I actually don't know or can't get a good picture of the issues we've been experiencing in the beta. I haven't run into a ton of issues playing on my Twitch save, which if you want to watch that sort of thing, it's down in the description. Be coming out with my actual Football Manager save soon. You can also watch it essentially as a Let's Play on the live YouTube channel, but I don't get the full experience, right? You can only play Football Manager so much. The last time I checked, there were only 24 hours in a day, which means I put out a tweet, said, what issues are y'all having with the beta? Then there was also a post on the Football Manager subreddit that said, what annoys you most in this beta? It's probably this. There we go. So we'll go through these, come up with possible solutions if they're not patched in the base game, but basically shout them into the void and hope that these things are fixed in the base game, at least the serious answers. If you just keep losing, I'm sorry. There's tutorial videos for you. There's also apparently an issue because I am not in the game. I will be suing. But there is one big issue that's not going to be fixed from going beta to full game release, and that's that the FM Touch is only going to be available on the Switch this year, which if you like playing the watered down version of Football Manager, on most platforms it's not going to be available anymore unless you want to go in the App Store and get FM Mobile. But if you want to get that kind of experience, there's the sponsor of today's video, Top 11, which is a free game to play in the App Store. I would know because I played it. And you don't actually even need the App Store. It's on iOS and Android, but it's also a game you can play in your web browser. A completely free to play football soccer management game. It's been played by 240 million people, and you can actually compete with them online. And what I honestly loved about it, it's not like a pay to win game. You can actually just compete with those people. You manage all the aspects of the club. You've got training. It's got a simplified version of the training, and then you can get a little more in depth with it. You bid on and sign players. You develop those players. There's also player play styles. So you can have a regista, you have a poacher. You can turn those players into those play styles. You can amplify their skill sets to improve those play styles. You can get your friends together and play a big league with your friends. There's like 4 different leagues going on in every top 11 season. When you go into the match, you'd be playing for the league, the cup, the Champions League, and the Super League. And honestly, when I was knocking through it, playing a couple matches, there's a really nice feel to the skills, the unlocking of the skills through training. The bidding on players is fun. You're bidding, you win matches, right? You get coins, then you bid them on players, and you try and outbid other people for players that'll fit your tactic, like the way you think it should work. And look, I was hesitant. I get a lot of offers to sponsor videos from mobile games, free-to-play games, but actually sitting down and playing this game, like it works, it's fun, it's not pay to win, and it's free to get on and to play. So I've enjoyed my time on it. It's nice to throw on the phone when I'm on the subway, and if you click the link down in the description, you can play Top 11 too. You can click the link down in the description, you can play Top 11, and you spend even more time playing football management games, because that's what we really needed. Soccer management games. What have you guys done to me? Why do I say football all the time now? Peer pressure. Peer pressure is the answer to that question. Anyways, what is actually busted in Football Manager right now anyways? There's been a ton of interest with Newcastle in the game, but apparently there's been some bugs with that and just the transfer market in general, right? Because Scooter is saying Newcastle's in season 3 still hasn't signed a full-time manager or made any transfers. I'm gonna be honest, Chief, there's probably no fix for this. Maybe you could take over the team and join everybody else on the face of the earth that plays Football Manager in managing Newcastle. So Rin says, you know, if the VAR is going to give your goal or not before it tells you. If it goes to VAR and your scorer appears on the bar on the left, then it's given. If not, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, but what I'm pretty sure is true is the linesman doesn't move if it's offside and does move and runs up the side if it is a goal, right? They have yet to figure out exactly, Football Manager has, how to institute ambiguity into the VAR process. You generally can tell based off apparently the name popping up on the bottom, that a goal has been scored or a goal has not been scored. This is the sort of thing, and a couple of these are the sort of things, there are reasons you might want to restart your save, because I would be shocked if this wasn't fixed by the time the actual game comes out on November 9th, right? They're not instituting updates since the beta came out. It could very well already be fixed, but they're just waiting to drop that as part of the full game, and it might not be able to patch over saves that have already been created. There's a reason that I play basically a practice season with a team. We're playing with Leo right now. And once we play that practice season, it's real game. And then we go into the full game where this sort of stuff has been fixed, because this is sometimes the only sort of stuff that you find when you release the game to like hundreds of thousands of people to play test it for you. Then there's Sun Praising says player agrees to asking price, gets mad at asking price set, viewing a player's relative PA isn't immediately shown in the scouting report. Sun Praising hits like a bunch of stuff, but the one we'll pull is player agreeing to asking price, then they get mad at the asking price that's been set. I talked about this in my transfer game. I didn't know if it was a bug or just a personality quirk, but to be honest, I feel like it's a bug. Your agent and player should probably be more on the same page as to what the asking price should be, and the 35 million discrepancy that happened when I was messing around with Renato Sanchez. The asking price for me is unrealistic and unfair, which is okay. Bug alert, right? I love this feature, but it totally said that he was okay with the asking price. But that's probably a glitch that they're going to need to iron out. Another one is the inability to attain it for free. That's unfortunate, but at least one of you is going to cure that inability, because what you are going to see pop up on the screen right now is a code for Football Manager for free. There will be a link down in the description to redeem that code on Fanatical, which is of course the same website that you can buy Football Manager with my code at a discount and help support the team. If you feel like Football Manager 22 is a game you want to grab, then you can do that. But this code right here, it does actually work, and you can get Football Manager for free. So we've solved that problem already. What, for one person's getting Football Manager 22 for free. You have to redeem it at Fanatical, like on Fanatical though. You have to redeem it on Fanatical, then you move it over to Steam, but you have to redeem it there. Just for that one person that redeems that on Steam and I was first, and you weren't listening. It's okay. That's always what gets me in trouble too. What'd you say? Maffey brings up Maffey9 brings up an important point here, that there's a couple of people that have complained about the navigability of the player search window. So like when you're coming into your player searches and you're trying to add people to your shortlist, right? You click on these people, and then you scroll down, and then it's like not being totally functional, or like functional, and it like randomly select one person. Well, let's see if we can do this. It actually worked, so I think I've solved this issue. But another issue that I've seen raised in these comments is that if you scroll down, well, that seems like an issue. Things just taking a very long time to load seems to be a huge problem in the scouting center in general. I got multiple replies to this tweet about this sort of stuff. Since the match engine's designed to be able to work on essentially every computer, shouldn't the player search be able to work on most of them? I don't know exactly how simple this is to fix, but clearly I've just successfully glitched out my entire player search and can barely see any players anymore, and that's an issue. Christian Erickson wanting playing time despite not being medically eligible. I can totally see how in game development you just miss putting that one little thing in there, but hey, glad he's okay, really. Injuries mainly. I have a 25-man squad and I have 15 injuries. 7 of them are out for the season. That's honestly just brutal. I had 5 injuries though going into a Champions League match on my save, so this is something that I've heard a lot of noise be made about, and it's definitely something. The injury rate feels a little high. Maybe SI is just trying to make a statement on the state of the modern game. I don't know. The fast button to switch penalty takers still disappears too fast. So, you know, when you get a penalty and the button pops up, says, hey, you want to change your taker? That hasn't even been appearing for me. I have to pause the game before the penalty starts happening and change the taker manually. They probably should should just have something pop up where your assistant coach comes to you and, hey, who's taking the penalty? And you just answer the question, or you just blow it off and say, don't bother me with this again. But for me personally, I would love to be asked that question going into every penalty, because you don't get enough penalties for that to be annoying. People have had some issues with the squad registration. This is another one of those bugs where some of these creep into the main game. I hope they get this one fixed, because you'll get to squad registration, you can't actually submit it, so you have the holiday to be able to continue. Like go on vacation, where you go up here, hey man, just going on vacation for an hour so that we can get past this impasse. But we actually had this sort of issue in Portugal in our save in FM21. It was like never fixed, or at least we'd started our save at the beginning of the actual game and they fixed it afterwards. So I am of the opinion that you should just have the game editor on if you decide to purchase the game editor, so that you can fix these issues. Because last year my youth recruitment broke too, and so we were in the Champions League with a youth recruitment of 1 out of 20. And I was in the forums like, hey, can I confirm this is a bug so that I can fix it with the in-game editor? There's so many elements to this game that it's almost never perfect. It's almost never bug-free. As long as you trust yourself, have the editor on. If you have low impulse control, I wouldn't. You could not leave it on. Maybe it's a good practice for you. Because it's my opinion that actually looking at like the current and potential abilities of players ruins the game for me. It's just not fun anymore. But even if you do that, that's fine too. I'm just trying to advocate a way for your life to be even better. Of course, with the beta out, there is no editor. You don't get an editor with the beta because it's still being tested. So we can't fix these issues. Corners are wildly OP. I honestly thought that was last year too. Look, I made a video, how to be a set piece god. I'm running the same corner tactic. I'm scoring a ton of goals off corners. I was doing it last year too. Pump the ball to the near post to your 2 tallest dudes, occupy defenders elsewhere, and you're gonna be able to pull some goals out. At least create some chaos. A lot of people saying crosses are overpowered, which is a little concerning. I am seeing that a lot of progressive attacking plays come from getting the ball out wide and then going in through the middle. You don't see a lot of passing through the middle of the park. I wasn't sure if this was just my 5-2-3 formation, but based off a lot of other people saying that crossing is great and kind of OP, then I'm thinking this is a broader issue, which is a shame, because in FM21 I thought play through the middle was wonderful. FM20 is where they nerfed hard. You couldn't play through the middle. So now in 22 they seem to have gone back to that a little bit. They've already acknowledged that crossing seems to be a little overpowered and play through the middle hasn't been as good, which means hopefully they're gonna fix it. We got With the Ghost saying the inverted winger inside forward isn't cutting in like they should. I've noticed this as well. It's a shame, because those are 2 of the most used positions in the game, but they definitely are looking to stay wide more. And I think that has probably the same reason as the previous issue, where you're sitting there and you go, well, nobody's going through the middle. But that is a big problem. Other things we're talking about, the little registration button, those are small problems. Fixing the fact that players just aren't going through the middle as much as you'd like is what the Ghost says, kind of backed up by analytics. 1 in 6 or 7 entries into the final third is coming through like the middle third of the pitch or something. That's just not good enough or realistic. Messi won't enter into contract talks with me, and I'm at Shamrock Rovers. I can't. I tried. You saw me. I mean, I think we should protest. I think nobody should buy the game. No. It's the only way. I conceded a penalty 8 games in a row. And then there's a large collection of people that said, really, I haven't had any problems until now. Not much, which honestly, for a beta, if you've gone through the whole beta experience, played a save and gone a couple of years, and you've not run into a problem, that's really good. And I tweeted out a couple of days ago, I said FM22 is pretty good, and it is. It seems to be ahead of schedule on previous games. The most troubling issues for me are the slowness when you go into the scouting screen. And oh yeah, then there's the super annoying fact that on your scouting reports, you can't actually see the attributes, which I assume is supposed to create more immersion. That's always their goal. But as you might have seen in our last video, as I go to make the change now, we've actually, the Zealand skin I've created actually has solved that problem, amongst other problems. So if you think this looks cool, wait until you see this. Boom! Super cool, informative screen thing. But that was the last video. If you want the Zealand skin for your game, you can go check that out. That was the most annoying thing for me at the beginning, is not being able to see the attributes when you're scouting. Then we do have somebody calling into question the accuracy of some of the data hub analytics, which honestly, if we can't trust the data hub at this point, I don't know who I can trust. Hopefully SI to patch this stuff up, but who knows? What we could do is we come back and review this and see if any of this stuff is still here. It might be, but I'm sure that these last 2 weeks have been hellish at the SI studios, and we'll see whether they're able to patch the big stuff, the small stuff, and everything in between. I'll see you on another video. See you on another stream. Have a beautiful, awesome day. I'm just going to say that to everyone. You have a beautiful, awesome day. A beautiful, awesome day. A beautiful, awesome. Yeah, it creeps some people out. All right. Hungry. Let's do this.